Welcome to part 1 in my multi-part series on making my latest game, Trivia War. This part goes over the initial inception of the game and gathering the resources that I'll need to make it. By the way, my name is Fraser. I'm a 25-year-old indie game developer, and on this channel I do tips, tricks, tutorials, and vlogs about the games that I'm making. By the way, you should wishlist the other game that I'm working on, Rated Mutant. You can find it on Steam. Rated Mutant follows Tori, whose father has been kidnapped by the mysterious V. She traverses through hard terrain and obstacles in a dungeon laboratory, all while fighting hordes of monsters with her arsenal of weapons. Links in the description below. So for me, making a game pretty much always starts on paper. Or rather, it used to. Ironically, I use an app called Paper on my iPad to kind of sketch out my ideas. I sketch out the various scenes that I think I might need, kind of like in a storyboard or comic book format. So Trivia War is basically RPG meets trivia meets local multiplayer. I'm hyper competitive, I love trivia, and I love beating my friends in games. So the concept is kind of an expression of all those things. The basic premise? Everyone starts with a lifespan. A question is asked. If you get the question right, you get to attack any other player. The person who gets it right the quickest, they get immunity for the round. Every few rounds, the players get upgraded weapons. Once a player's lifespan hits 0, they are eliminated from the game until there's only one person remaining. So here are the various scenes I think I'll need. I need a start screen, a main menu, settings, and the main game screen. We'll allow a random player to choose a category, then the question will appear. Then there will be a waiting period so that everyone reads the questions. We'll show the various answer choices. All questions are multiple choice. And then they will have X amount of time to answer said question. Now that we've kind of figured out the logistics of the game and how it'll work, it's time to get some resources. I've wanted to make a trivia game for years, but honestly, sourcing questions is awful. It's the reason that I haven't done it until now. So I did a little research to see if maybe things got a little bit better, if it's going to be easier to gather without manually creating a bunch of questions and answers. So I did some research and I found this cool little API online that seemed to have a decent amount of questions with a good amount of variety and categories. The problem is that it's super limited, and I also want the game to be able to be played offline. I think that's a very important part of a local multiplayer game. So I actually wrote a cool little script that basically gathers all of the questions that the API has and puts it into a text file so that I can use it anytime. Now I am allowed to do this according to the license, and I'm going to attribute the API in the credits. I also want to have some player avatars in the host. So I looked on the Unity asset store for some free graphics, and I found this cool little pack that allows me to customize and make my own characters. I hopped into Illustrator and I kind of put them all together. Also some cool sound packs for weapons, and I should already have some music and some regular sound effects from other projects that I've worked on in the past. The players I put together, I try to be inclusive and put together a variety of different looks and skin tones. And I took some time to whip up a quick logo in Illustrator using some Noun Project assets. By the way, if it wasn't clear, the budget for this game is effectively 0, which is why we're trying to use free things to kind of make sure that it stays that way. And now I think I'm ready to start prototyping, which will be in part 2. So let me know in the comments, do you start your games in a similar way? Do you think that it's weird that I basically name my games before they're even fully concepted? I want to hear from all of you on how your process begins. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you get notices for the next video. Once again, my name is Fraser, and I'll see you all in part 2.